I guarantee it, a government that continues to defy the will of the people is a government that will fall. And that once we are in power, then it's about the will of that government to make things happen.
Parliament in chaos after Sarah Pochin's bold remarks on Keir Starmer. You're not going to believe what just happened inside Parliament. What started as a calm debate turned into absolute chaos, and it all began with one woman's bold words. Sarah Pochin stood up, looked straight across the chamber, and delivered a remark about Keir Starmer that instantly sent shockwaves through Westminster. It wasn't just a political jab. It was a direct challenge, the kind that makes even seasoned MPs glance nervously at one another. And within minutes, the room that's supposed to represent order and reason erupted. So, what exactly did Sarah Pochin say that left Parliament stunned? It began during a session on leadership accountability, a discussion that was supposed to highlight political integrity and transparency. The tone was respectful, the exchanges routine, until Pochin took the floor. Her speech started calmly. She spoke about honesty, responsibility, and the importance of politicians leading by example. But then, her tone shifted. She said, "We've reached a point where too many leaders are saying one thing and doing another, and yes, that includes the leader of the opposition." All eyes turned to Starmer. And before anyone could react, she added, "If you're going to stand on principles, then live by them. People see through the performance, and they're tired of being managed instead of being led." The reaction was immediate. Gasps. Murmurs. Some Labour MPs visibly tensed. Others, including a few from the opposition benches, actually nodded in agreement. And just like that, the calm broke. What followed was a cascade of noise, MPs shouting across the aisle, voices clashing as the Speaker struggled to restore order. You could hear the tension echo through the microphones. Journalists watching from the press gallery described it as one of the most charged moments Parliament's seen in months. Because here's the thing, Sarah Pochin didn't just make a statement. She said what a lot of people have quietly been thinking. That Keir Starmer, for all his control and professionalism, might be losing touch with the authenticity that first won him respect. And it hit at the worst possible time. Labour's been trying to tighten its message ahead of the next election, pushing discipline, unity, and focus. Starmer has spent months crafting an image of steady leadership, avoiding drama at all costs. But when someone challenges that image inside the very halls of Parliament live, on record, it's hard to control the fallout. Within hours, clips of the exchange were everywhere. One short video, captioned "Pochin calls out Starmer's double standards," racked up over 1 million views in less than 6 hours. Social media exploded. One viewer wrote, "She just said what half the country's been thinking, politicians sound like actors now." Another posted, "Starmer looked rattled. That silence said everything." Even political analysts were taken aback by how fast the story spread. A BBC correspondent noted, "Pochin's remarks hit a raw nerve. She questioned not policy, but character. And that's always harder to defend." Another insider told The Guardian, "Everyone in Westminster knows Starmer hates personal confrontation. That's why this moment matters. It forced him into a reaction he didn't plan." And that reaction, or rather, lack of one, is exactly what people are still talking about. Because when the shouting stopped and the Speaker finally restored order, Starmer didn't respond with anger. He didn't fire back or interrupt. He just sat there, quiet, expression unreadable. Some call that discipline. Others call it discomfort. But either way, it spoke volumes. Now, to understand why Sarah Pochin's comments hit so hard, you have to look at where Labour stands right now. The party's been walking a fine line, trying to appear strong enough to challenge the Conservatives, but cautious enough not to alienate moderate voters. And Starmer, the former prosecutor turned political leader, has built his brand on control, every word measured, every statement weighed. But as one political columnist put it, you can't connect with people if they feel you're performing leadership instead of living it. That's the message. Pochin tapped into frustration, fatigue, and a growing sense that British politics has become too scripted, too polished, too safe. And that frustration doesn't just belong to one party. It's everywhere. Within Parliament, reactions were mixed. Some MPs dismissed her comments as grandstanding. One Labour frontbencher reportedly said, "This is what happens when people chase headlines instead of progress." But others, even within Starmer's own ranks, privately admitted she hit a nerve. One source told a political blog, No one will say it out loud, but there's truth in what she said. We need more conviction, less caution. Even some conservatives, normally quick to criticize, were quietly impressed. One backbencher was overheard saying, "That took guts." And honestly, she wasn't wrong. Outside the chamber, the public debate only grew louder. Talk shows replayed the moment. Headlines framed it as a parliamentary shake-up. And opinion pieces started asking the same question: is Keir Starmer too cautious to inspire? The timing couldn't be worse for Labour. The country's dealing with cost-of-living pressures, migration challenges, and a public that's increasingly skeptical of all political leaders. So when someone stands up and says, "Be real, stop pretending," people listen. It's the kind of authenticity that doesn't come from strategy meetings or press releases. It comes from saying what others won't. By the next morning, both names Sarah Pochin and Keir Starmer were trending nationwide. And while Starmer's office refused to issue an official comment, one insider told The Times, "We're not giving her more airtime, but trust me, people noticed. This won't be forgotten anytime soon." Because moments like these, unexpected, unscripted, have power. They reveal cracks in the surface of political control. And once people see those cracks, they don't unsee them. Now, whether Sarah Pochin meant to ignite this much drama or not, one thing's clear: she's put herself at the center of a conversation that isn't going away. Was she reckless, or was she right? That depends on who you ask. But no matter where you stand, it's undeniable her bold remarks changed the tone of the entire session, and maybe even the public perception of Starmer himself. So as Parliament returns to business as usual, one question lingers. Was this just a fiery moment in debate, or the spark that exposes a deeper truth about how politics really works behind the scenes? Because one thing's certain: Sarah Pochin didn't just make Parliament erupt. She made the country stop and think. And that, in politics, is the kind of chaos that no spin doctor can control.